Hey everybody, here we are at last. The last chapter, 16, the final one in Latin 111. I've I've added to chapter 16 here the title by putting euge atque atat, because these are two expressions in Latin, that is euge and atat, that that are apropos for this situation. Both of them roughly mean hey, only said it in slightly different ways. Euge is hey, and it's something that is an expression of admiration, and I certainly admire you for making it through to this point and to the end of the class, and I'm looking forward to going on with you into 112. And it's also the kind of expression that could be said at a party, like if somebody extremely alluring were to come by and you're with your friend, you could kind of give them a nudge and go, "Euge." Atat is slightly different. It means hey, but it's kind of a heads up hey. You know, it's something that's said in times of fright and also in joy, but it's kind of a heads up or look out or like, hey, you need to call attention to something. And what I want to call your attention to is that this next chapter they have a short slide coming up, but there's chapter 16 is on third declension adjectives. So this is a new declension of adjectives. You've seen third declension before, of course, but you haven't seen it in adjectives. And this new kind of adjective makes reading Latin a little more complicated because now we've introduced first, second, and third declension nouns, and now we have first, second, and third declension adjectives. However, since nouns and adjectives come with their declension set, it's very often the case that you'll have a first declension noun and a third declension adjective, or a third declension noun and a second declension adjective, meaning that the spellings at the end of the noun and the adjective are not the same. So those happy days in which you could tell that an adjective was modifying its noun because they both had a or us or o on the end are pretty much over at this point. Adjectives modify their nouns because they have the same gender number case as nouns. And so if the gender number case matches, then it modifies it. It has nothing to do with spelling, but it has everything to do with grammar and syntax. This is one of the reasons why you need to learn the declensions and learn to which declensions nouns and adjectives belong, and why I've got atat here on the screen. Before we get started, one interesting side note: in a lot of literature, this atat is something that occurs in Greek literature as well, and just depending on how excited somebody was, they just kept repeating it. So in different manuscripts, we don't have atat, we have atat. So you can just string this together as a kind of emphasis or extra exclamation marks if you plan to use it. And it does come in handy at times. Okay, let's get started here, and let me tell you a little bit about third declension adjectives to help prepare you for going through the paradigms and going through the vocabulary to learn which declension the adjectives belong to. All right, there's only one slide here, and that's because a lot of the information has to take place with you looking at your wheelock, and me putting it up here would just be a repetition of what you already have in front of you. The thing you need to know is that, you remember we just got through with I-stem nouns, and I said that there would be other words that would use an I-stem declension, such as participles, and coincidentally, these third declension adjectives. So, third declension adjectives have I's in their genitive plurals, and the neuter nominative and accusative plurals have I's in them as well. Now there are three kinds of third declension adjectives. There are three termination adjectives, and these have a separate form in the nominative for masculine, feminine, and neuter. Examples of this are acer, acris, acre, which means sharp or acrid. You notice that there's three forms: acer for masculine, acris for feminine, acre for neuter. Same thing with keller, kelleris, kellere. Keller for masculine, kelleris for feminine, and kellere for neuter. In these cases, acer and acris, in their other cases, look the same as each other, and keller and kelleris look the same. In fact, you can tell the base of the masculine and feminine adjective from the feminine if you take the ending off. The second kind of third declension adjectives are two termination adjectives, and this is where the masculine and feminine forms in the nominative will look exactly the same. Examples of this are like fortis, forte, brave, and dulcis, dulce, sweet or pleasant. Dulcis is the form in the nominative for both masculine and feminine, and that's very convenient because there's only one to learn for both of them. But you have to know that it can apply to both masculine and feminine as it goes down. Dulce is the neuter form. Lastly, in third declension, there are some adjectives that have one termination. That is, they have one form in the nominative that works for masculine, feminine, and neuter. Examples of this are ingens, the word that means huge, and potens, the word that means powerful. You've seen the base for potens, powerful, in the verb way back when we did potsum or possum, I am able. In cases like potens, you'll see them listed in the vocabulary as potens and then the genitive potentis, or ingens, ingentis, where the second form, you're told, is the genitive form. In that case, you know you have a one termination adjective. In other cases, you'll see the nominative forms of the adjectives, just like with all other adjectives. So if you see acer, acris, acre, you know you have a three termination, dulcis, dulce, a two termination adjective in third declension. So as you go through the vocabulary list, you have to begin to take note of which kind of adjective the entry is, whether it's third declension or whether it's first and second declension. So acer, acris, acre up here is three terminations and it's third declension. But longus, longa, longum, one of the other vocabulary items in this chapter, that is like magnus, magna, magnum, or magnus, magna, magnum, great, longus, longa, longum, and declines according to in masculine and neuter in second declension and in feminine and first declension, just like the early adjectives that you first learned. So as you go through the vocabulary, take note of which is which. If you learn the entire vocabulary, that is the bold forms, you'll always know to which conjugation a verb belongs, to which declension a noun belongs, and also to which declensions an adjective belongs. Alrighty then. And I'll let you get to work on that because there's quite a bit to go over. And you have your last test coming up and translations, which I'm looking forward to reading. And I'm just very excited that you're here at the end with me. And if I can be of any help at all, please let me know on the forum. And if you see something you can help with, please chime in and help others as well. I'll see you in the homework, and I'll be waiting for your tests and translations, and looking forward to getting those back to you. All right. In the meantime, good work to you. Happy studying, and let's finish off with a bang. Okay.